Hey everybody, Moonraver here. One of the top questions that is asked on Wiccan forums and other forms of communication among Wiccans is, for teenagers, how to hide it from your parents. For me personally, I never had to hide it because my mother is very open and accepting of other religions. She says, as long as I believe in something that is not harmful, then she really doesn't care. But here are 10 tips for teen witches. My first tip is first of all, if your parents don't let you burn candles, then you can go to the Dollar Tree and get LED light candles, or see, like I have here, the lights strung up on my wall. Christmas lights work really well because I've got Christmas lights strung up on my altar and they work really well. If your parents do let you burn candles, you could go to the Dollar Tree or you could go to Goodwill. That's where I bought this red candle and this amazing turtle-shaped candle. Turtles are my favorite animal, so I love that candle. Another thing is, if you have leftover Barbie dolls from when you were little, you can use that as a representation of the goddess. I mean, if they're collectible Barbie dolls, nobody will think twice if you set them up on display or something. Just like I've got here. That is a Portuguese Empire princess Barbie doll, and she is representative of the goddess for me. Another tip is to make a hideable altar. I used to put mine in a bin, not because I needed to hide it, but for convenience. That's up to 3. 4. If you don't have to make a big production out of it, you don't have to wear all the jewelry. The goddess doesn't really care whether you wear pagan jewelry or not. What she does care about, I just realized that makes me look fat. What she does care about is whether you practice, you can just pray like other Christians, like other religions do. You can, there was a part in a Scott Cunningham book, and I believe it was A Further Guide for the Solitary Practitioner, where you could cast a circle using just yourself and energy that you have built up, using scrunching up your muscles and stuff, and then releasing that energy. So you don't have to cast a circle with candles, and it doesn't have to be like that. Another tip, you can do it all online. Now you can have a Tumblr, or I know on Everything Under the Moon they have this subforum for digital books of shadows. You could just put everything on a USB flash drive, download pictures from the internet, diagrams of the Wheel of the Year and stuff, and make your own, type it up. That's what I used to do, and alongside my physical books of shadows. Another thing is collecting nature. You can just, this is probably going to turn out to be more than 10 tips, but you could collect seashells if you're near the ocean, which I have a big seashell here. And I also have a horseshoe crab shell. It is right here. It's from a medium-sized horseshoe crab. And that's if you're by the ocean. If you're not by the ocean, then you're shit out of luck. No, you can collect sticks. Here's my atame. Typically, a black-handled knife is used as an atame. It's kind of like a magic wand type thing, but more significant. I don't like to use a knife because knives for me symbolize violence toward the self, because I do have a history of mental health and self-harm. So, knives for me symbolize violence toward the self, so I don't like to use knives in my ritual work. So I use this stick instead. You can collect rocks, you can collect gems. Like, I'm pretty sure if you told your parents you were collecting, like rocks and stones and stuff, they wouldn't, like, think twice. It's all about representation. Like, you can have a doll represent the goddess and a stuffed owl represent the god, like I've got on my altar. You can have, you know how, like, in 3rd grade or so, you make, like, little pottery things? I use this as, like, a cup or a chalice to represent the goddess. You can use pretty much anything you find around the house. Like, I have, from a Christian bookstore, I have this, see that tree right there? It says, May God richly bless you today. That doesn't have to mean the Christian God. So, and another thing is you can do private prayer. I keep all my prayers in a prayer notebook because it's easy for me to get distracted while I'm praying, but, you know. Lighting incense is very common among Wiccans, but I know for me at least, my mother doesn't like it when I light incense because the smell gives her a headache. So you can do that. Ritual jewelry, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. Like, here's my ritual jewelry. It's in a box that I've had since I was like 14. I've got this, which I probably shouldn't use because it's stolen. I've got this hematite ring. A tip for hematite rings, don't wear them all the time. Only wear them when you practice because they break really easily. This skull turtle bracelet. This wrist mala from Amazon. This turtle necklace from SeaWorld. I use that sometimes too. I made a bracelet out of pony beads. It's I'm also a candy raver, and it says blessed be. Here's another turtles bracelet with monkeys on it. And this I got from the Gay Pride Parade the first year I went. It was, I think I sent one to my girlfriend, one of those bracelets. Which brings me to my next point. Like, if you do want to include somebody in your craft, make sure they're very accepting and won't out you to everybody. Like, my girlfriend would never even think about doing that. But, like, I know for some people, they would out me. Like, my brother, for instance. He really doesn't care what I believe in because I explain it to him in an age-appropriate way. But if you are going to tell people, make sure that they're trustworthy. Another thing is you can download Wiccan music from YouTube and use it, like, listen to it while you're either meditating or, like, doing your ritual work. You don't have to use, like, all the symbolism. Like, I've got a picture of my deceased loved one that I put on my Samhain altar, which is a celebration of the cycle of life, death, and rebirth. So I've got a picture of a deceased loved one, and I put it on my altar last year because he died in February of 2015. And so then that October into November, I had the picture of him setting up on my altar. So you can use a bedside table, like that's what I use. This bedside table is pretty cool because it's got a drawer and a cabinet underneath. You can use index cards for a pentagram or something, or a pentacle. I always get the two confused. You can, like, have a collection of candles, which you really use for pagan purposes, but if your parents aren't very approving of it. And I always support telling people because they might be more supportive than you think. Like, I had a friend well, she's a lifelong friend. We met in like second grade, and when I was about 13, 14, I came out as bisexual toward her. I came out as bisexual to her. Not like bisexual toward her because I didn't really feel that way about her, but and she's like, "Oh, okay, whatever." She didn't care. I'd expected because of her background that she would not approve, but she surprised me. So you can also use like fancy hair clips if you're a girl or a transgender. I meant like if you're a female identifying person. You can use fancy hair clips like this one. Oh no, it's falling apart. Like this one. And you can use that. What my grandma got me, because my grandmother knows too, is this fancy shirt type looking thing. I'm looking for it right now. It's for my practices, and it is very beautiful. It's got like these pearly looking things on it, and it's kind of like a vest. So that's kind of what I wear. You don't have to dress a certain kind of way to practice Wicca. You can do it in your street clothes. I don't think the goddess really cares what you wear, as long as you're respectful towards her and respectful towards everybody else. And just for me at least, before I came out of the broom closet, I followed the Wiccan Rede, which I will go into in my next video, and I tried to live the life that I felt a witch should live. So those were my tips for closeted teen witches. So bye!